The men who created our country were of all kinds of backgrounds. Most were avid students of history and government, and many studied Stoicism. Washington, Adams, Jefferson, and Franklin famously read books by ancient writers like Seneca and Marcus Aurelius. These and other ancient texts of wisdom taught them about self-control, duty, and using reason. For example, Jefferson rarely showed his emotions. Washington stayed calm during crisis. They strove for daily improvement. They kept journals that helped them improve. Some survived better than others. Much of our history of the time comes from these accounts. John Adams famously kept thousands of journals, most of which survived. We also have many of Washington's journals, even from when he was young. They stood up to the strongest country in the world and risked everything for an ideal, their lives, their fortunes, their sacred honor, knowing they would be hung as traitors if they failed. After winning the war, Washington could have made himself king. Nobody would have stopped him. In fact, they wanted him to. Instead, he gave up power and went home. Instead, he shocked the entire world. King George famously said, "If he does that, he will be the greatest man in the world." It was just never done. He showed his stoic belief in doing what was right for his nation and history, not what would give him more power. Just one of Washington's many feats. He followed principles of duty, reason, and virtue, even when the path was difficult. George Washington worked on self-control his whole life. He built his character through hard work and practice. At Valley Forge in the winter of 1777 to 78, the American army starved. Soldiers had no shoes and left bloody footprints in the snow. The British waited nearby, expecting the Americans to surrender. Washington stayed calm because he knew his soldiers watched him. He shared their hardships and refused special comforts he could have had as commander. His self-discipline kept the revolution alive, when quitting seemed the only sensible choice. The army held together not just through military strategy. George Washington and Marcus Aurelius lived 18 centuries apart. One led a struggling republic, the other ruled the world's greatest empire. Yet the similarities between these men are striking. Both came to power reluctantly. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his journals that he would have preferred a quiet life of philosophical study. Washington repeatedly tried to return to Mount Vernon after his service. Neither man sought power for its own sake. They accepted leadership as duty, not privilege. Both men led during war. Marcus commanded Roman legions against Germanic tribes along the Danube frontier. Washington guided ragtag colonial forces against the world's strongest military power. On campaign, both endured the same hardships as their men. They understood that leadership begins with example. In private, both struggled with anger. Washington's temper was legendary among those who knew him well. Marcus Aurelius repeatedly admonished himself in his journals to control his rage. Both men worked daily to master their emotions through Stoic practice. They shared the same view of fame. Marcus wrote, "How quickly all things disappear." Washington similarly avoided monuments and ceremony. When Congress wanted to build him a tomb, he modestly declined. The Roman emperor and the American general both faced betrayal. Marcus Aurelius contended with the rebellion of Avidius Cassius, a trusted general. Washington weathered the Conway Cabal, when officers plotted against his leadership. Both responded with dignity, rather than vengeance. Most significantly, both men put service above self. Marcus Aurelius spent his final years in cold military camps, rather than the comfort of Rome, because duty demanded it. Washington surrendered power when he could have kept it. The ancient philosopher king and the modern general president understood the Stoic truth that character matters more than comfort, service more than self-interest. Patience wasn't just waiting around. It was understanding that important things take time. The Founding Fathers built for future generations. At the Constitutional Convention in 1787, delegates argued for 4 hot months in Philadelphia. Progress was slow and painful. Many would have forced quick solutions or given up. These men knew from studying history that progress rarely moves in a straight line. They committed to working through frustrations. The government they created, with its checks and balances and careful sharing of powers, was built to last. They weren't making a government for that moment, but one that could last for centuries. Their wisdom came from experience. Meaningful change takes patience. Freedom grows slowly. Building a country requires steady work across generations. The courage to challenge Great Britain, the most powerful country on earth, was extraordinary. The founders understood the risks, including execution for treason. They went forward driven by deep belief. Their toughness turned problems into action. Thomas Paine's common sense faced hard facts directly while explaining why the fight was necessary. This was true toughness, acknowledging setbacks without being beaten by them. The Founding Fathers knew freedom is won through determined effort against strong opposition. America was born through persistent effort against huge odds. The founders put Stoic principles to work during the Revolution. The Founding Fathers understood that true leadership means serving something bigger than yourself. John Adams worked tirelessly for independence despite missing his beloved wife Abigail and their farm. Jefferson called him the Colossus of Independence, a man whose powerful arguments kept the cause alive in its darkest hours. Adams served as diplomat, negotiator, and political thinker, often giving up personal comfort for public service. Leadership means putting the common good above personal wants. The very idea of a government of the people, by the people, for the people, came from this understanding. The founders rejected power held for personal gain. They created a system where authority came from the consent of the governed. Adams served as diplomat, negotiator, and political thinker, often giving up personal comfort for public service. Leadership means putting the common good above personal wants.
Well, surrounding
Life,
them is out.
liberty, and the pursuit of happiness meant something deeper than pleasure. For the founders, especially Jefferson, happiness connected to living rightly, in line with nature and reason. The founders believed good societies need good citizens. No constitution, however well written, could make up for moral failure among the people or their leaders. Thomas Jefferson believed government must be built on principles of moral excellence. Self-government depends on self-discipline. The founders knew a nation built on virtue would better withstand challenges. Its citizens would act with integrity and commitment to the common good. They created not just a government, but a framework where good citizenship could flourish. The Founding Fathers matched their actions with their stated values, keeping consistency between words and deeds. Thomas Jefferson advised his nephew Peter Carr to act with integrity in all things. These principles guided his own conduct, even when staying true meant hard choices. The founders were flawed men who sometimes fell short of their ideals, but they made honest efforts toward living by their principles. Declaring independence showed their integrity. The signers risked everything to live according to their belief in self-government. They established a government marked by the same consistency, institutions that would fulfill their stated purposes, rather than serve as covers for corruption. The founders believed good societies need good citizens. No constitution, however well written, could make up for moral failure among the people or their leaders. Their system reflects this understanding: power balanced by responsibility, rights paired with duties. Benjamin Franklin recognized the importance of moderation. His autobiography details his practice of moderation in all aspects of life. Excess in any area upsets the balance needed for personal and civic well-being. A republic requires citizens who can govern their own desires, who understand that rights bring responsibilities. The founders created a system showing this principle: a government neither too weak to work effectively nor too powerful to threaten liberty. The Founding Fathers understood the value of silence, knowing when to speak and when to listen, when to act and when to wait. The Constitutional Convention met behind closed doors to create space for thoughtful discussion. Passionate arguments could lead to reasoned compromise. George Washington was known for his measured silence. A leader's words carry great weight. Sometimes the most powerful statement is attentive listening, rather than immediate pronouncement. Wisdom comes from reflection rather than reaction, from careful consideration rather than hasty conclusion. The founders recognized that truth isn't always found in the loudest voice, but often in weighing different viewpoints. Restraint isn't weakness, but the foundation of wisdom. The Founding Fathers valued order as essential structure within which liberty could grow. Chaos breeds instability. Thoughtful organization enables progress. The Constitution, with its distribution of powers and checks and balances, created a framework for lasting government. Benjamin Franklin organized his days with careful method. Disciplined structure enables productive activity. Order wasn't about forcing sameness or stopping creativity. It established a reliable framework within which individual liberty could thrive. The founders created a nation guided by principles rather than personalities, by established processes rather than arbitrary power. Patrick Henry's words, "Give me liberty or give me death," express unwavering conviction that some principles matter more than safety or comfort. The Founding Fathers maintained their determination through years of setback and hardship. They succeeded because they refused to abandon their cause, despite repeated failure and overwhelming odds. The republic they established has lasted because its foundations were laid with careful attention to lasting principles. Nations, like individuals, need strong character to weather challenges. The American experiment continues, sustained by the principles that guided their efforts. We honor the founders by recognizing their practical wisdom. As relevant today as in 1776, their approach to government and citizenship offers guidance for our own involvement in the American experiment. Their example shows that history isn't distant and dusty, but the living record of principles tested in the furnace of experience. The Stoic traits of the Founding Fathers: self-control, patience, toughness, humility, virtue, integrity, moderation, restraint, order, and determination form the foundation of our nation.